Welcome back, guys, and it's a pleasure to have you with us. I got my man's JG with me today, and we are about to look into a video that is kind of interesting. Well, it's really interesting to me because it talks about the guide and the path and how to make wise decisions about life. And there's something in particular that kept coming up that I was like, what? Why does it keep coming up and again and again and again? And it just drew my attention because I wasn't expecting it. I wasn't expecting that to come up. So if you're here for the first time, please like and subscribe. It will be a huge help if you do that. We are Backyard Conversation, and we target topics that are relatable to the youth and that are hot on the table, if you want to call it. But why don't we get started? Take a look at this video with us and let us know what you think.
Yeah, let's do it. Just FYI, the original video was called
It's called How to Best Guide Your Life Decisions and Path.
And this was a very big clip that came up. What is his name? Andrew Huberman?
Yeah.
Yeah, so if y'all don't know him, I don't know much about him, but he's pretty smart. I'm not gonna lie.
He studies the brain, and he talks a lot about neuroscience, which I also read a book, and I think Pastor read it too, and he preached about it the other day. So about how we have neuroplasticity. If you,
yeah, we did an episode on that. Y'all can check it out.
How to reset or something.
Wasn't it it was like you can change your mind or something like that. Yeah. I remember.
And we tied it up to a Bible verse that says, the book also ties it up to the Bible verse that says that God's mercies are renewed every single day.
He wrote that?
Oh?
What book was that? By him?
No.
Oh, a different guy? Oh, okay.
Yeah. But it talks about like how we get new neurons to reshape our brains every single morning. So we have the capacity to change our brain. But I don't know. I was not expecting this to come up on this conversation because it's like, okay, it's about life. It's about decision taking. It's about a guide. But this particular topic came up twice, if not 3 times. So take a look.
It's a big one. Let's check it out. Please, no ads. Yes. Thank you.
Nowadays, I get a lot of questions about pornography. And the discussion around pornography is always related to the discussion around masturbation. But let's just talk about pornography for a moment in this context of these primitive drives and these circuits within the hypothalamus, which we were all born with, that clearly some of them are devoted to our progression as a species through reproduction. Zero question about that. Sexual behavior being linked to reproduction. Not always, but certainly. We can all agree on that.
It's a necessary precondition.
I hope we can still all agree on that. But last time I checked, that's still true. A sperm and an egg met someplace in some context to create all of us. Okay? We're still grounded in that. Pornography is something that I hear quite a lot from typically young males, but sometimes young females or even older females who say that they can.
And I want to emphasize the fact too that this is not a Christian podcast.
Yeah, no, it's not. This is. I mean, I don't know if these guys are Christian behind the scenes or whatever. I know Peterson. Some people think he's somewhat there, but Andrew Huberman is just. This is just a.
Yeah, but they don't really talk about like Christianity or or church in general. Like it's mainly about how the brain works and how we're functional beings and so on. And one of the things that he mentioned is that those are primitive, I guess, functions, if you want to call it. So it's something like those desires, I guess, to want to be intimate with somebody, they're not wrong. They're just misplaced. So just take a look at what he continues to say and see what you think.
Quite a lot from typically young males, but sometimes young females or even older females who say that they can see themselves trying to resist the desire to go look at it. And it almost doesn't feel like a desire anymore. They're sort of just in a kind of a compulsion that is almost unconscious, but they're just aware of the fact
like
that they're
an eating disorder.
Like an eating disorder. They're doing it, they know they shouldn't be doing it, and they can't help themselves. And we could think about 2 ways to attack this.
Can you really?
If one believes it's a real concern, and they certainly do.
Yeah, definitely.
Like the way he explains it, like it's not even a desire anymore.
It's just something they just do.
They just do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
We have a video, by the way, that is called like Stuck on a Cycle or something like that. I forgot what we named it, but we can probably put it at the end of the video or on the description.
It'll pop up somewhere up there.
Yeah,
maybe.
So that video, we kind of digged into this. You should go watch it. But yeah, who hasn't been there as a Christian, right? You become a new convert. You believe that Jesus rose from the dead and died for your sins, and then you get stuck because you are left with all these habits and all these things that doesn't necessarily shave away from day to night. Like, there's things in my life that I had to work through, and this was one of them. Like, definitely. Like, it was just something that, like, he explained it.
Like, you just, the reason I just asked is it's just crazy sometimes to think about it. Like, it was so bad, at least for me, that it's just like, it wasn't even a desire, right? Like you said, like, it's not a desire. You just kind of like, it's just like, you just do it. And at a certain point, it's just such a bad habit, I guess, like you were saying.
Yeah.
And so you're just so, I guess, addicted that it's just almost not even a desire anymore.
You're zombified.
Like, you're just helpless. Like, yeah, you
become a zombie.
You're just zombified. And I guess, you know, it can be a lot of different things, a lot of different addictions. But yeah, in this case, it's just, I don't know. He said that and I was like, man, that's true.
Yeah, but I strongly believe that this is something that a lot of people struggle with, especially in church. It's something that is not spoken that very often. And I'm not going to lie, you're going to hear this multiple times on this channel because, like, we talk about we talk about topics that are relevant to the youth. So it's something that, in my personal opinion, I think we need a break. It's a generation struggle that we are dealing with. I mean, back in the days, you had to have a magazine. You had to have something physically that you had to, like, flip through pages. You had to go through a store. So you were exposed with this. You know, I don't know if you remember, but I might be too old, man. Sheesh. But I remember going to, like, Blockbusters, like the movie rental
Blockbuster?
things. Yeah. Did you ever go?
Yeah, of course I went.
Okay. There was a section, dude, on some of them that, like, they had, like, dark tint on the movies.
Yo, for real?
Yes.
What? I did not know that.
Maybe it was just the one that I went to.
I was too young. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I was just too young.
There was one that they had, like, dark shades, and, like, if you flip the shades, they were rated R movies. So back, like, rated in the day,
adult, you know, A, or what was the adult rating?
MA or something like that.
That's mature. For games. Oh, there's like A for games, which is like above mature, and then there's like one that's past R. It's like, it's something else. I forgot, but yeah, I got
it's crazy, dude. But what I'm trying to get to is that you had to go out of your way to do that. You had to go out of your way to have access to it. Nowadays, like, what your great great grandpa, like, it took him years to, like, experience, you see in seconds on your phone.
You don't even have to look for it, honestly.
How is that gonna affect your mind, bro? Like, I mean, it honestly affected me. So yeah, and you're right. You don't even have to look.
You technically don't. Yeah, like, no. You could just be scrolling on TikTok and then a girl shaking her.
Yeah, you know? It's insane, dude. But the important thing is that you admit that it's a struggle. Like, you have to first admit that it is an issue, that it's not normal, because this culture has tried to normalize that. Oh, it's okay. You know, it's a form of way to de-stress yourself. Like, you're stressed out, go ahead, bust one. That's what I'm saying. Or, like, it's stuff like that. Like, I don't know if you heard it. I definitely did, especially in school.
I guess so. Yeah.
In school, it was like, oh, you're stressed out, or she's really stressed, like, she hasn't gotten it, and I was just like, okay. So it's something that,
sounds
like,
something like a boy would say. A boy,
yeah,
not a man, a boy.
Yeah. But it's an issue, right? And you first have to recognize that it is an issue. That is not something that it's natural. It's not, like, and most of these things, like, it's just fantasy. But let's continue watching and see what he continues to say.
You do, so I do. I would be open if I had or do. Pornography has not been my thing, and I don't struggle with it. But when I hear from these people, it's so clear that they're asking, is it the prevalence of pornography out there, or is it something really broken in them? Like, are they broken?
Question.
But I don't know that. I would say, after having the discussion we've had thus far, that they're broken. It seems to me that it's like, as you said, it's the manifestation of one part of their it's one personality within them.
Well, and it's been compulsively rewarded. So
what do you think it means by a personality?
All right, this is what I want to talk about, because like some Christians can automatically jump into, oh, like she's possessed or he's possessed or you have demons.
Yeah, you got a spirit attacking.
You got a spirit and so on. In some cases, that could be the case, but I strongly believe that the devil's very smart. I was reading this book and it just opened up my eyes, because it kind of made me think about the rhythm of things, right? It talks about how in nature there's rhythms. There is the time of summer, spring, fall, winter. Like you have those times and you cannot do anything to disrupt those times, right? You already know by December it's going to be cold. Like you cannot change that. Like depending on the area that you're in our area, it's going to be cold. Like nothing can interrupt that. And there's rhythms, and everything adjusts based on what the nature's rhythm takes place. So the animals adjust to it, the trees adjust to it. So the trees, they start losing their leaves and they start, changing. Everything changes based on the rhythm. And eventually, as human beings, we establish rhythms in our lives.
Yeah.
Patterns that we continually adopt, and they continue to happen. And the tricky thing is that just as God can place seeds to establish faith and move purpose in your life, the devil can establish one seed and he doesn't have to do any of the work, because your mind does the rest. As long as you believe one thought, as long as you feed into one thought that the devil places in your head, his work is done. He doesn't have to send like a demon or a helper, because you do all the work.
Yeah.
You do all the work.
It doesn't really take a demon to get a person addicted. I think we're plenty capable of doing that
ourselves. Yeah. And we blame the enemy, and I mean, he takes credit for it for sure. And you enter the cycle of your life where you don't even realize that you are in a rhythm that you have established. And you can't hop off of it, because you're not able to think outside of that rhythm. So what you need to do is change your rhythm, fam. So in a music standpoint, right? You are a musician. Uh-huh. When you first started listening or started playing the piano, you had to look into the notes and you had to memorize the notes, right? And it was kind of hard at first, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. So it was hard at first, and you had to memorize. You had to keep the paper in front of you, and you had to really, really memorize it. But it got to a point where you started playing a melody, and you automatically were playing it without looking at it or without exercising your brain to memorize the keys. Mm-hmm. Am I wrong?
No. Yeah.
So in the same way, like most times in our lives, we play these keynotes in our brain, in our thoughts, right? We feed onto these thoughts, and eventually they just come automatic. Like they just become autopilot. Mm-hmm. Like there is nothing that can interrupt the rhythm of that thing, because they're so engraved in your brain that nothing can break it. So corn, that's exactly what it does. That's the previous scene that we were watching, right? It's just something that you automatically do. Like you don't even desire it. You don't even want it. You know it's wrong. You want to quit, but there's already something established that you cannot break. And it's your mind. It's the pattern that you have built in your mind. Our minds are extremely powerful, dude. Uh-huh. Like when you start digging into how the mind works and how like your brain work, it's ridiculous. The amount of power that you have to exercise is ridiculous. But let's continue watching. Let's see what he says. I don't know if you have anything to add onto that.
I don't know.
I mean, as a musician.
As a musician? No, I think that was pretty cool. Pretty good analogy.
When you see yourself moving towards the culmination of a desired goal, a dopamine, that's accompanied by dopamine release, okay? Mm-hmm. And so two things, you know this, but everybody who's listening might not. Mm-hmm. There's two elements to that dopamine release. One is pleasure, but the other is that the dopamine, imagine that there are circuits activated as you're acting. what the dopamine does is increase the probability that the circuits that were activated just before the positive experience happened grow. Okay, so now if you're engaged with pornography and that culminates in successful sexual satiation, which it can, that's what masturbation does, then the whole personality that's oriented toward that set of stimuli is going to come to dominate. It's very much like an addiction, except it's you know, there's been work done with generally simpler animals on these phenomena called super stimuli. I think it's stickleback fish where this was first observed. So males, I hope I get this right, but I've got it approximately right. I believe it's male sticklebacks they're very aggressive towards other male sticklebacks. And the reason they're aggressive is because the other male sticklebacks have a red dot on their bellies.
Listen to this very carefully, because this can relate to us as triggers, right? We have triggers. You have to find out what your triggers are, what triggers you. Like for me, in my personal journey, like one of my triggers was rejection and loneliness and boredom. One of my triggers, 3, boredom, rejection, and loneliness, right? Those were the things that triggered me. And I had to come to the bottom of that. Where did it come from? What happened? And surprisingly enough, it was something that happened to me as a child and so on. But this is key in changing that rhythm that you have established in your life, or that pattern, on breaking that pattern, digging in and finding out what your trigger points are. But I think this is a very good example.
Yeah, no, this is what he says here makes a lot of sense. Let's see.
They don't like red dots at all. And so you can really enrage a stickleback with a red dot. And if you use a red dot that's a little bigger and a little brighter than the typical red dot, you get a super stimulus. It's virtually irresistible to the stickleback. And it's weird because the maximal activation is produced by a stimulus that they wouldn't see in nature. It slightly exceeds, that's exactly what pornography does. It's a super stimulus, right? And it's not surprising that young males in particular are susceptible to that, because male sexuality in human beings is very visually oriented. Very. And a lot of our brain is visual, way more than virtually every other animal, certainly every other primate and every other mammal. And so we have a situation where any 13-year-old boy can see more hyper-attractive, super stimulus women in one day than the most successful man who ever lived 100 years ago would have ever seen in his whole life.
Oh, that's what I was telling you.
Like an evolutionary, radical ecological transformation. And it's worse because it's easily accessible, so it takes no work. Right, so not only is it a super stimulus, it's one that's at hand, so to speak.
And the analog in
he starts talking about food here, but yeah, no, that part was,
that's crazy.
It's crazy. It's so accurate, man. It's so accurate. I mean, everything he just describes there, the super stimulus part is so true, because like it's just I don't know, like once you're addicted to that extent, at least when I was like that, you can't really even appreciate. It's like, you know, the fact that you always need something more every time, right? Some more weirder every time. You can't just appreciate the actual thing, right? Or the actual, even like just a female body, let's say, or just a woman, like as let's say like a husband who's addicted to pornography still. I bet you they can't even appreciate their wife.
Yeah, no,
because they have this, you know, this hyper stimulus, super stimulus, that they're just addicted to, you know.
And that's why Blue Pill is making a lot of money.
Yo,
sorry,
that's the thing though. That's true though, because there's, what is it, corn induced ED?
No, right? yeah, for sure.
Because you're so addicted that your body cannot naturally, when you're actually like trying to do the actual thing in its actual context where it's actually appropriate, you can't.
Yeah.
Your body's so hooked, like so dependent that you can't do it.
You like the fake stuff more than you like the real stuff.
Like that's crazy, man. And that has to be like a newer thing, a newer condition. Now that you know this, I don't know.
It's insane. One of the other things, I don't know if you caught it, is the fact that that he said that this generation, that it's easy. It's easy, right? It takes no work. And I almost feel like this generation, like the time, I'm not even going to say this generation. I'm not going to target any generation. But the time, and especially the younger people, they don't like to work. Like, whatever takes effort, fam, like, they don't want to do it. Like, for some reason, bro, like, they want to do whatever's quick, whatever's easier. That's why you see all these teens in TikTok going like this and doing weird movements and saying weird words because they want easy money, bro. Everything easy.
For real.
Everything easy. They don't want to put in one single drop of work or sweat.
You seen those videos of like, maybe, I don't know, I want to say maybe a 12-year-old or a 14-year-old being like, oh, me stressing in my teens because I don't want to work in my 20s. And they're like, oh, this is the grind, giving up at 5 a.m., working on my e-commerce website. I don't know, like, have you seen that?
Yeah.
And I'm like, bro, why do you're so young. Why do you want everything so fast?
It's insane.
That's normal. I don't know, man.
Be a kid. Enjoy life. But this does desensitize you. So you get to a point where you don't even enjoy food. You don't even enjoy a cup of coffee. You don't enjoy anything, right? And they also throw another example that if you eat your meat, right, your steak or your tomahawk or your ribeye, whatever meat you like, right? If you eat it a certain way with good seasoning and stuff, you're gonna get used to the taste, and it's gonna lose that hit, right? So eventually you're gonna have to go back to the just salt and pepper or unseasoned meat in order for you to cherish that taste again.
Bro, I'm not gonna lie. Look, when I did a 2-day fast one time. It wasn't even that long, bro. 2 days. Just 2 days. It wasn't like a week. It wasn't 3 days. Just 2 days. And when I ate my first meal, bro, the explosion of flavor was crazy. I was like, oh my gosh, food has never tasted better.
I feel you. I did.
Food has never tasted better.
How do you break it?
I forgot what I ate, man. I don't remember. But just the most basic things, like just something plain. It just I could taste it so well. Yeah. Like bread even. I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. Like, I usually break it with fruit, like with blueberries as my go-to, or mango, and they taste like out of this world, bro.
For real,
it's crazy. Yeah, but like that's the thing, that you get to a point where you don't even you lose track of life, and you get all this bitterness and all this, impulsive anger and all of these things. I mean, I don't know if you experienced it, but when I was going through that and trying to get out of it, I was angry. And I felt rage. Like, it was weird, dude. Like, I remember this one time my dad stopped me at work when I used to work with him welding. And he was like, man, why are you so young and so bitter? And it was because I was going through that transition, bro. And I was going through that transition. And I just remember, like, those times where I would, like, pray. But at the same time, I would get angry because it wouldn't go away from day to night.
Yeah. Frustration.
And other things would, though. Like, cursing went out from day to night. Like, it wasn't hard. Music, it wasn't hard to, like, give it up. But that particular thing, and it was because I was attached to it.
An addiction. Yeah.
And it just sucks. But here is something that I think that could help you if you really think about it. When we go back to this rhythm thing that we were talking about, the keynotes that we were talking about, guarding your mind, guarding your, the thoughts that dwell in your mind, that is something crucial and important. In fact, the Bible says that we should renew our mind every single day, not every once a week, like every single day. So what are you doing to reinforce the good thoughts to overcome the bad thoughts? Because at the end of the day, it's a struggle in your mind, right? Like I said, in some cases, yeah, like some people are being influenced by demonic forces, but usually those cases, they're like very dark and very weird.
Yeah,
like
they usually have some special circumstances.
Yeah, like it's not like, oh, like it's like,
yeah, it's not as simple as just like, oh, I'm addicted and I can't get off.
Yeah,
it's like, oh, I don't know, I had an experience at night with something visited me in my sleep.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Or
I've heard that a couple times. Bro, yeah, it's very odd. It's not just like, oh, I'm addicted. No, that's just humans. That's just us. Sometimes.
And obviously, it's a problem because it keeps coming up. And the thing is that I strongly believe that we don't have purpose. Like, the people that dwell in these things, they don't realize that there is a bigger purpose for your life. And if you don't have a definite purpose, or if you don't have a ultimate goal, you're always going to drift away in life. Matter of fact, this book that I was reading talks about being a drifter and a non-drifter. So the devil, what he ultimately tries to encourage in people is to put them on a cycle where they drift away from life or in life. So to the point where they don't accomplish nothing, they don't become anything, they don't achieve anything, and at the end of their life, they just go to hell, and he just collects their soul. And interesting enough, in the book that I was reading, which is called Outwitting the Devil, it kind of hints that Christians fall into that category too, because like some Christians, they really don't try to fight and don't try to break the cycle. As a matter of fact, not too long ago, I was listening to, I believe it was Ruslan that said this, that if it wasn't Ruslan, it probably would have somebody else. Dang. No, I don't think it was Ruslan. I think it was somebody else. But anyways, they mentioned the fact that there is a high percentage of Christians that think that this is okay.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where it's getting that's where it's a little bit concerning, because it's like it's not okay. Like, this is not something that you have to like live with the rest of your life. Like, you can fight for the rest of your life, because I'm not gonna lie, like there's moment of weaknesses that I have to go to my, I guess, backup or my walls that I have put in place to, you know, to shut off that fire or to shut off those triggers. But the thing that helped me out the most is having a purpose in life, knowing that I've been placed in a church for a purpose, that we are bridges to connect the community. And that's like not only like the congressional purpose, but in general, like that's a purpose that we should all seek, to be bridges and to connect people to the love of God. So not having goals, like not having even like career goals or, I don't know, health goals, whatever goal you have, like think about it. Is it a goal that is actually driving you to leave these things behind and to better yourself?
Yeah, no, that's really true. Even just knowing your purpose as a husband, or like in our case, right? Like we're youth leaders, right? You're a youth pastor. I lead the teens. Like knowing you have a responsibility to be a role model, you know? And then like, if you fall into that, like how can I really be somebody to look up to for these kids, or be a good husband, knowing that what I'm doing that right now would hurt my wife, you know? Yeah. I don't know. Like, that purpose thing is setting goals, having ambitions at least, you know?
Exactly. Yeah.
Giving yourself something to work towards and kind of be accountable for is a big important thing.
Yeah, we do a pretty good job of that. Just holding each other accountable.
Mm-hmm.
Matter of fact, we get alerts.
For real. You got to do what you got to do. Yeah. But no, and one thing, I don't know if or maybe we did. You probably did touch it the last video we did on this. But one thing that I guess I appreciated, I guess, right? I underappreciated was also like physical, not like fitness, but like physical, you know, like going to the gym.
Ambition,
so like physical ambition.
Yeah, I've been telling you guys this, bro.
More so not just the fact of being fit, which is important, right?
Yeah.
But more so the dedication and the discipline.
The discipline.
Yes.
Doing what you don't want to do.
Not even the motivation, the discipline.
Yes.
The discipline to consistently do something you don't want to do for your benefit. Right?
Exactly. Yeah.
That's something that I knew it was valuable, but I kind of like for a long, especially like in the beginning of my marriage, I didn't really, every time somebody would be like, oh, you got to lose some weight. You should start going to the gym. I'd be like, you know, I got more important things. Right. And it's not that I was like lying or anything. It wasn't that I was just being lazy. Yeah. I honestly didn't want to go, but I also, you know, I would have rather spent the time and the money, which honestly is not a lot. Yeah. Like if I'm being honest, it's not that much time and money, but I would have rather spent that time and money, you know, doing something else, maybe put it towards another bill, or just spending time with my wife. But now that I've recently been going back, I'm not trying to lose weight just because I feel fat or something. I'm trying to lose weight because I like boxing. I want to compete, and I need to lose a lot of weight. Because if I compete at my current weight, I'm gonna get slapped in the face so bad. But and now that I'm going and consistently doing things I don't like to do, like running, right? I have to run because I need to work on my stamina if I want to last 12 rounds, right? Or even 4 rounds in sparring, right? 3 rounds, right? Like boxing is very, very, very tiring. is very exhausting. You're using your whole body. You get exhausted. Not to mention you spar after all the workout. So you're already tired. So I need the stamina to be able to keep up and to do well. And pushing myself to always run, which I hate. That's probably the exercise I hate the most is running. Pushing myself to run consistently, jump rope consistently, do consistent cardio, go to the gym when I know I'm going to get kicked in the butt. You know, the coach is going to really push me and I'm going to be hurting the next day. You know, pushing yourself to do that, having the discipline to do it, even though, you know, you're on the drive there and you're already getting nervous because you already know what's coming. You know, pushing yourself to do that really helps. And I've even seen like the Wes Huff, the Joe Rogan podcast he did with Wes Huff, where he mentioned like he always thinks you need to have physical or athletic, you know, ambition or discipline paired with academic ambition.
Wes is built, bro.
Bro, he's buff. He's jacked. He's jacked. And it made sense. Like having the discipline to do stuff you don't want to do athletically aids in your academic success. And it can aid in this too, like denying yourself, right? Saying no to your desires.
Yeah.
Like, I think last time we probably mentioned like fasting, right? So fasting can help you say no to yourself to food. But this, like going to the gym when you don't want to, really pushing your body, especially like me in my case, I'm trying to do it not just for fitness reasons. I'm trying to like compete, and I really need to push myself past what I can normally do.
Yeah.
And like sometimes to extreme amounts. Like I'm losing 5 pounds in one day because you're sweating so much, right? That kind of, I don't know. It's really I just undervalued it, and I think you guys should.
Bruh,
if you haven't valued it, you know, Jerry's always been the biggest. He's been the gym bro of the three of us.
You know why though, right? It has taught me delay gratification. And it's doing something that you don't see the results in one day.
Exactly.
I mean, you do, because you said 5 pounds in one day. Like that must be water weight.
It has to be water weight.
But anyways, it's just putting in the work of something that you cannot see the result at the moment, but you know that if you consistently start doing it, you are eventually going to see the result. In the same way, you can apply this to many things, even this podcast, right? Like,
that's what they were mentioning.
Yeah, we are putting in work. We're not getting paid for this. Ultimately, you know, we just want to bless people. We want to bless the youth. We want to bless whoever's watching. But just putting in work, knowing that in the long run, it's going to pay off. I'm not going to be sitting around and say, oh, man, like I wish we could open a YouTube channel. Like we already doing it. So we're already on the boat. So we're already
not expecting
pushing.
To blow up in like a month. You know?
Yeah.
Having dedication to actually consistently upload.
Through. Yeah. But which is something that we're still working and we're still finding our rhythm. But the key is not giving up. It's just trying to figure out yourself and trying to find a pattern that works for you. Because everybody's the same, it's different, right? Your body's different. I'm gonna react to the exercises you do differently. My body's gonna react to it. Matter of fact, I think that at this point, there's probably things that you're doing that I cannot do. Like in terms of when you go to the gym, the way you practice, the way you move, the how long you last in the ring or spar or doing things, right?
Maybe.
No, bro. I went running. I was telling you, I went running with some of the youth during the summer.
All right,
and
but I'll do track,
dusted me, bro. And I was so pissed. I wanted to cry, but tears didn't come out. Anger came out, and I just started pushing myself. But anyways, just to wrap this up, so that we can leave you with this, is having consistent goals. And having a definite goal in your life of where you want to be in life is crucial to overtake these things. If you have no purpose in life, if you have no goals in life, it's going to be extremely difficult for you to overcome an addiction. Extremely difficult. And matter of fact, on the same clip, they talk about alcohol addiction and how he has a friend that tried everything, and it was not until he went to a religious or like a Christian like one of these like events that he actually broke through, because he was able to place his faith in a higher power, and he discovered that there's a higher identity in being a child of God. in the same way, I feel like a lot of Christians, like we say we're Christians, but we practice so many things that are not Christ-like, and we walk like anybody else, and we expect the blessing and the fruit when that's not how it works. Like, the fruit is not going to come unless you exercise and do what you need to do in order for those things to come into place and light. Like, I have to place myself in a fertile land. I have to make sure that I put the right ingredients in order for that seed to grow into a tree, and I have to expose myself to wind, to pollen, to sunlight, to bugs, to certain things, right? That could be uncomfortable at first, but eventually it's gonna pay off because I'm gonna live through it and I'm gonna bear fruit, and eventually somebody's gonna pick it up and it's gonna eat and it's gonna digest from that fruit that I have given. So we, ladies and gentlemen, need to find purpose in life. Find purpose in life. Find something that motivates you to the point that this is no longer acceptable. And if you don't have, and you're struggling with doing this, just look at the Great Commandment. Go and make disciples, man. Love God with all your heart. Love your neighbor. And go and make disciples. Preach the gospel.
Try some new thing. Give yourself some responsibility. If you like it, that could be your thing, man.
Stop playing Fortnite.
If you're a young adult, maybe you could try some youth ministry. See how it goes. You know, we're trying to do that with the young adults in our church.
For the males for the males in particular, I feel like the physical part has a lot to do with it, because like you even exercising, like I'm pretty sure that releases a bunch of dopamine in your brain. Like you feel good after you
feel good when I felt good when I stepped on the scale. I was like, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
I was like, right. Like, you feel pumped, or you like, you go on a run and you did it a little faster than the last time. You're like, okay.
You feel good.
Yeah.
And even after
progress.
like, even after the workout, like you feel good. Like going home, you feel like you actually
got
like,
that
did
gym
something.
pump, you're like, dang, I feel swole.
Yeah. So it's good. It's a good feeling.
Like maybe should I keep the tank top on? Show off.
JG's too excited.
No, I'm just joking.
Shout out to Milka.
I don't do that much weight training. I just do stamina.
Shout out to Milka. She probably like, yeah, that's my boo. But anyways, guys, if you want to listen to the whole clip, I think it's very helpful, and he has other clips that are extremely helpful. Actually, he has a lot of clips that are extremely helpful in terms of like how to break addictions, and he has other people that are expert that go into this topics. We're not expert.
No.
I mean, we're
just pulling from a very good resource.
Yeah, we have our life story, we have our testimony, but there's certain people that specialize in these things, and you should definitely listen to them if you are, struggling. But I don't know if you have anything else to say.
Yeah. I think that was good. Yeah. I don't got much else to say.
All right, guys.
Fight your battles.
You heard it.
Fight the good fight. Fight the good fight.
Yeah, fight the good fight. Focus on Jesus. Remember that the enemy is trying to make you drift away. If you have no purpose, if you believe in God, listen to me. If you believe in God and go to church but have no purpose, this is exactly what the enemy wants. You can warm up a seat every single Sunday.
Devalue your
and there
purpose.
you go. Devalue your
God
motivation.
is giving you one, and you just don't value it.
Preach, bro. Somebody just drop the mic. But anyways, guys, it's been a pleasure. If you haven't subscribe, like, share, send this to somebody that needs to set some goals, and tell them, man, get your life together, set some goals, go to the gym, go outside and run, walk. If you can't run, start with walking. If you can't walk, then crawl. But do something. Please do something. Please.
Temper yourself,
Please. Just get out of your couch. Yeah. Get out of
something
your phone.
Something is better than nothing.
Yeah. Go out for a walk. Hop on a bike. I don't know, man. On a skateboard, on a scooter, whatever. On those little weird things that you step on and you go back and forth, even though you're not doing nothing. At least you're standing an hour outside. Hey, pull up a Mike Tyson and fall.
Bro, the hoverboard?
Yeah. But anyways, guys, it's been a blessing. God bless you all. Stay strong out there. Peace.
See ya.
All right. Welcome back, guys. It's a pleasure to have you with us. Yeah, we haven't done this in a minute.
I know.
All right. Welcome, guys.
You got it, Brad. You got it. Go ahead.
Welcome back, guys. And it's a pleasure to have you with us. I got my man's JG with me today. And God bless you all. Stay strong out there. Peace.
See ya.
Let me do the intro. Hold on. Let me do the intro again. Hold on. The intro sucked. What's up, fam? Welcome back to BYC. It's a pleasure to have you here with us. I am here with JG. And we found this video that we think that it's going to be useful and a benefit to your life. So join us.
Nice.